The man who insulted the entire world, Diogenes. There was once a man who owned nothing, no palace, no kingdom, no army, no followers, and yet he terrified the powerful more than kings ever could. He insulted rich men to their faces, mocked philosophers in public, laughed at society like it was a bad joke. And one day, when the most powerful conqueror on earth stood before him, this man looked into his eyes and said, "Move, you're blocking my sunlight." That man was Diogenes, and this is not the story they teach you. This is the story of the philosopher who declared war on human stupidity itself. Athens was full of philosophers, men in robes discussing truth, debating morality, arguing about virtue. But Diogenes looked at all of them and saw actors, frauds, pretenders, men addicted to applause. So while philosophers wrote books about simplicity, Diogenes actually lived it. He abandoned comfort, threw away wealth, rejected status, and began living inside a giant storage jar like a stray dog. That is why they called him the dog philosopher, not as praise, as an insult, but Diogenes smiled, because dogs don't lie, dogs don't pretend, dogs don't wear masks. Humans do. One afternoon, Diogenes walked through Athens carrying a lantern. In broad daylight, people laughed. Children followed him. Crowds mocked him. Then someone shouted, "Diogenes, what are you looking for?" He raised the lantern to their faces and said, "I am searching for an honest man." Silence, because the joke wasn't the lantern. The joke was humanity. Diogenes believed civilization was a performance, a theater of fake smiles, fake morality, fake intelligence. People claimed to love truth, but worshipped comfort. They claimed to value freedom, but spent their lives begging society for approval. And Diogenes hated them for it, not because he was evil, but because he believed humans had become slaves, pretending to be free. One day Diogenes owned only a bowl, just one. Then he saw a child drinking water using only his hands. Diogenes stared silently, then threw the bowl away and said, "A child has surpassed me in simplicity." Think about that. Most people spend their entire lives collecting things, cars, phones, clothes, titles, validation. Diogenes spent his life removing things until nothing remained except himself. And maybe that is why the world fears people like him, because someone who needs nothing cannot be controlled. Then came the moment that made Diogenes immortal. Alexander the Great, conqueror of nations, destroyer of armies, the most powerful man alive. He had heard stories about the mad philosopher in the jar, so Alexander came to meet him personally. Crowds gathered, soldiers stood watching, and there was Diogenes, lying on the ground in sunlight, barefoot, unimpressed. Alexander stood over him and said, "I am Alexander the Great." Diogenes looked up slowly. Then Alexander offered him anything: money, protection, power, anything. And Diogenes replied, "Yes, stand out of my sunlight. No fear, no respect, no worship, just truth." For the first time in his life, Alexander met a man who could not be conquered. Because how do you conquer someone who desires nothing? Alexander later said, "If I were not Alexander, I would wish to be Diogenes." Imagine that, the ruler of the known world, envying a homeless philosopher. Diogenes is dangerous even today, maybe more dangerous than ever, because modern society runs on one thing: insecurity. It tells you, You are incomplete. You need more. Buy more. Earn more. Show more. Pretend more. But Diogenes shattered the entire machine with a single idea. The less you need, the freer you become. That idea is terrifying, because if people truly believed it, entire industries would collapse. Imagine a world where humans stopped chasing status, stopped comparing themselves, stopped needing strangers to approve their existence. That world would be unrecognizable. And maybe that is why Diogenes still feels illegal. Before his death, people asked Diogenes what should be done with his body. He said, "Throw it outside the city walls." People were shocked. "What about wild animals?" they asked. Diogenes laughed. "Then give me a stick to chase them away." "But you'll be dead," they replied. And Diogenes answered, "Then why should I care?" Even death itself could not frighten him. Diogenes was not polite. He was not civilized. He was not normal. He was a mirror, and humanity hated what it saw inside itself. A species obsessed with appearances, terrified of rejection, addicted to meaningless things. But somewhere in the middle of all that noise, there stood one barefoot philosopher, laughing at the entire world, not because he had everything, but because he finally understood how little a human truly needs to be free. And maybe the most disturbing part of all is that deep down, we know he was right. One of his quotes is, "The foundation of every state is the education of its youth." Diogenes, he understood something terrifying. The more a man owns, the more the world owns him. A king cannot sleep peacefully. He fears betrayal. He fears thieves. He fears rivals. He fears losing everything he spent his life collecting. But a man who owns nothing has nothing to lose. And that kind of man becomes impossible to control. That is why society fears people like Diogenes, because civilization survives by convincing people that they are incomplete, that they need bigger homes, more money, more beauty, more validation, more applause. But Diogenes walked through Athens like a living insult to the entire system. He needed nothing, and in a world addicted to wanting, that is revolutionary, he proved that a man with nothing could still possess something greater than kingdoms, inner freedom. And perhaps the most disturbing part of all is that deep down, every human who hears his story knows one thing. He may have been homeless, but spiritually, he was freer than almost everyone alive today. And in the end, the world called him mad, because humanity has always feared the people who cannot be bought. Men chased gold. He chased the truth. Men built empires. He destroyed illusions. Men spent their lives becoming somebody. Diogenes spent his life proving that becoming nobody might be the greatest freedom of all. And maybe that is why his story survived for more than 2,000 years. Not because he conquered the world, but because he conquered the need for it. So before you spend your life chasing power, status, approval, ask yourself one question. If everything was taken away from you, who would you be? Because somewhere in history, a barefoot philosopher sitting beside an empty barrel already knew the answer.